We also have tonight a super typhoon going on across parts of the Mariana Islands at this current point. Ethan, I'm not sure how much you've heard of that happening over
So
there.
yeah, I have actually heard about that. I think it's either making landfall or at least the eye is passing directly over Rhode Island today.
Yeah.
Extremely powerful storm. I want to say sustained winds are 180 miles per hour at the moment. I think it has technically weakened a little bit, but not much.
Yeah, for sure.
Minimum central pressure is somewhere around 901 millibars. So, yeah, extremely powerful storm. I actually think it's one of the strongest to ever make landfall in a U.S. territory, and certainly the strongest to ever make landfall on that island.
All right.
Unfortunately, the radar in Guam is down, but if you do look at the most recent scan, it's pretty jaw dropping to say the least.
Can I see it on tropical? Can I see it on PIF? Let's see if I can even. No, I can't even use radar scope for that. But yeah, if you could go ahead and send that in to me. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna go ahead and bring a couple. I'm gonna bring a couple people on while we're waiting as well. I'm gonna bring Logan and Trevor on first. And okay, I'm just looking at this right here. Oh boy, that. Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm gonna bring Logan and I'm gonna bring Trevor in here first, just so that way we can talk a little bit about that. And yeah, things are definitely getting interesting. Hey, Logan, you're on the air.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. So last radar image. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up on the stream. Last radar image. Trevor, you're on the air. Yeah, the last radar from Guam that we had going on. Let's show this for you guys. Yeah. Based on what you've seen earlier, you guys have been tracking it. What are your thoughts? And what's your overall analysis for right now?
On the tropical cyclone, right?
Yes, yes.
So there has been talks about an eyewall replacement cycle that's been ongoing for the past few hours.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree with that. At first, I was hesitant because the past 2 days, I've noticed that this storm has done a few mergers, so we suspect, because there was a few eyewall replacement cycles that failed and acted like they merged with the inner core, basically, where you have the outer eye that tries to take over, but then it died out, suddenly stopped, and merged into the inner core. During that time, it's been 180 miles an hour, 901 millibars by the JTWC since this morning.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that there was a peak of 185 miles an hour, possibly 190 today. That's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
But considering the fact that we've gone a day without intensity estimates, and that the Guam radar showed strong winds, and the observations were showing a pressure drop of about 0.1 millibars every 10 minutes in an area near Guam, and I forget the name of the Air Force base, dropped to about 976 millibars, and this thing was barely reaching the CDO of this system. So I currently think that this storm was about 185 miles an hour, about 892 millibars. Mm-hmm. That was missed as a peak intensity at the moment.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Logan?
This storm is just catastrophic. It's produced many water spouts this morning, I've noticed, and I wouldn't be surprised if this thing grows extremely large, even after completing the eyewall replacement cycle and all that, to the point where it probably won't reach this intensity again, but it should be strong enough and still produce some devastating impacts. Also, this is going to be a big ace producer for the West Pacific, and also, side note too, I apologize if I sound raspy. I'm currently a bit sick, so
that's okay. Okay, so we have a question in chat. What does eyewall replacement cycle mean? Eyewall replacement cycle, for those of you who do not know, is the process where a tropical cyclone it develops an outer eyewall, and it develops an outer eyewall around the inner eyewall. So one of the bands that does form from a tropical cyclone becomes a new eyewall. And it starts to choke out, and because once it forms the new eye wall, it starts to choke out the inner eye wall, and all the warm water that's evaporating up into the through the eye of the hurricane, or the typhoon in this case, ends up being expended on the outer eye wall instead of the inner eye wall. And eventually, as time progresses, those two eye walls will start to rotate closer and closer to each other, with the inner eye wall kind of collapsing a little bit, or merging with the outer eye wall, and the hurricane, or typhoon in this case, will end up expanding in size as a result. It's kind of like your figure skater example, where if you're doing rapid intensification, instead of your arms start out on your arms start out expanded, but then you bring your arms in and you start spinning really fast. It's kind of a similar situation with an eye wall replacement cycle, where you have your arms in, but then you move your arms out, you start slowing down, but then you expand in size. So that's kind of the main process of it, and that's the best way I can describe it. I know I've described it also in some of my documentaries as well. I think it was either the Hurricane Helene or Hurricane Milton documentary that I made that kind of described that process. So check that out if you'd like to know more of that. But Trevor, you haven't talked too much yet. Trevor, what do you have to add with this?
The fact that this typhoon is expected to maintain its strength for probably the next couple of days. It is expected to actually become a Philippine agency name. Inday is what it's caught. It should cross that basin. I can't remember. It should become either the 7th or the 8th of July, and then it will pose a major impact to, I want to say, Japan Islands, Taiwan, and also the Philippines.
All right.
Taiwan in particular, it seems like looked at it, see if it was going to shift a little bit, and it seems like it's doing it now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at the models right now. The European wants this to head towards Taiwan and China, whereas some of the other models are a bit split, maybe having this head towards Korea as well, according to the GFS ensemble. So, yeah. So yeah, definitely a very concerning track if this continues to hold. Right here.
Can I also bring up a few points worth mentioning too?
Absolutely.
So here's quite a few things, honestly. So first up, with the West Pacific overall, if you look on Cyclonic WX, I believe we are the 8th highest season in terms of ACE at the moment.
Okay.
And then also something else too. You were aware of Tropical Storm Maysak, correct?
Kind of familiar with it. Explain to the audience what happened.
So basically, I think that there was an unofficial peak of about 85 miles an hour, and a lot of people agree with me on this. And Trevor, after I finish my thoughts, tell me, do you agree with that 85 miles an hour? Real quick.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's still a little uncertain, but there was a brief eye that appeared, and there was actually one that tried reforming over land briefly over China, which if we bring on LT, he'll tell you a lot about that too, because he's the one who pointed it out to me. And that was likely also an intensity that was missed. And then also, this storm here is likely going to drive the El Nino forward by tenfold because of a westerly wind burst. And not to mention the outflow that this system has, as probably some of the largest outflow I've seen in any particular storm. The outflow reaches all the way to Hawaii.
Yeah. Wait, this outflow goes all the way to the Hawaiian Islands?
Yep, basically, that's what I've heard. I don't know if that is 100% true, but basically I've heard that this does reach all the way to Hawaii.
Wow. Let me see. If there's a way I can pull up satellite imagery to verify that. Bad gateway. We have a bad gateway. Okay, I'm hoping it was a one-time thing. Okay, it was. All right, let's take a look. That's the EPAC, Central Pacific. Bad gateway, guys. So, tropical tidbits.
Yeah, it's having a little trouble today.
Yes,
I
it's
can
been
show
having
you
a little
another
trouble
thing
for
that might help you a
days.
little better. gonna put it in this chat here. Just give me a second.
All right.
But this actually has a lot of useful information regarding tropics, and it also has the ADT that I've been monitoring closely. So give me a second. I'll put that in the chat for you.
All right. Okay. All right. So, yeah, you getting all right. You got it real quick. Okay. Cool. Oh, this is Sims. All right. Awesome. Let's see. So that's the Typhoon. This is our Dvorak estimates right here. What I'm looking for is
Yeah. If you go back to the homepage, there's stuff for like your
mm-hmm.
There's stuff like the shear maps, the wind barbs, and you also have stuff for other intensity, like the demon and the deprint. I'm still learning about those,
Okay,
but
yeah,
if you press return to homepage,
yeah, I've been on
you'll
I've
basically
been on
see.
Sims before. Let's look at
Okay.
Hey LTW, you're on the air.
Hey, what's
Okay.
up, guys?
We're doing okay. We're tracking. We're talking weather right now, seeing if David Schlauhauer is going to come on or not. If not, then we'll have to figure something else out for a little while. But yeah, because we did send an invite out to him. He has agreed to come on, but he was only available for a limited time frame. So we're just kind of doing the best we can, and we're kind of just talking weather until he either shows up or lets me know otherwise. So. Yeah, that's just what
Okay.
we're doing for right now. I also have some other stuff I wanted to go ahead and show personally, but yeah, here's our wind shear map. So I have this pulled up. Logan. What should we be looking at?
I'm just gonna zoom in real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
You should. This is definitely a little bit less impressive as it was earlier on.
Okay.
But I think that's because the system is creating its own outflow in
Yeah.
a sense, where there's the shear barbs where you can see the 25 to 30 knots of shear.
Mm-hmm.
Like the 20 to 35 knots of shear out in front of it, I think is created by the storm itself. But if you look at upper level divergence, I think that should tell you that the divergence, because
Yeah.
this was originally under a tut cell,
Mhm.
tropospheric upper level trough.
Yeah.
Basically, it's moved since under a high pressure ridge out behind the tut cell, and that high pressure combined with the tut cell has created an outflow for this system, and that tut cell and the high pressure extend between the both of them about to Hawaii. Oh, speaking of that too, can I add on to something real quick?
Go
Trevor?
for it. Go for it.
Have you seen what some of these models were saying about this system? I mean, we had stuff like the nav gem that were saying like 200 and almost 250 knots. I kid you not. Which just these models were broken this whole time, and the H4 was broken tonight and had like 200 and something knots again, and like
wait.
No.
Wait, hold on. H-Wharf wanted a pressure of 9. Correct me if I'm wrong. 840. 6.
That would break the
millibars.
lowest minimum central pressure by far.
Oh yeah, the environmental minimum that was available for this storm is about 858 millibars. There was actually a time where it was even worse in the past, where that was one model run on, I think it was Manhunt.
Sure.
Had 770 millibars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just destruction everywhere.
Yeah. All right. What's up, Mitchell?
I said, I'm glad I've never experienced like a hurricane. I'm glad I'm in the Midwest, but we do have that risk of tornadoes.
Yes, we do.
Hey, same here.
LT, go ahead.
By the way, I just sent it into VC chat. This is what H-Wharf wanted on like what 12Z.
Okay, I'm going
Holy cow.
to use my one. I'm going to use my one of my 2 curse words tonight. But what the fuck is this? What the heck?
I had to show it. It just
wow.
looks so unbelievable.
What is this?
I don't know.
And that's not even the worst thing that happened. And this is probably very similar to what the nav gem was showing. It showed about 250 knots, but I couldn't find the model run because Tropical Tidbits doesn't use it anymore. And actually, the one model that has actually been correct has been the Halves A, which I got to give props to the Halves A.
Yeah.
Beautiful work early on. The model run kept showing eyeball replacement cycle after eyeball replacement cycle. Like I say, that one was beautiful. And then this one just looks like someone decided to paint and throw up on a screen.
But the thing is, Hafsa
First time
now
ever that Pat has sworn on a
it.
serious topic. That's not true. I've sworn in numerous ones. We always get in the regular streams we get one curse word per stream. For the Triple P show we upped it to 2. So
Yeah.
Oh,
By
does
the
YouTube
way,
have like a thing for that?
it's not necessarily. It's just I figured I want to keep
More
it
of a
somewhat
morality.
professional, but I also want
Yeah.
to add a little entertainment to it. So
Uh-huh.
yeah.
There's also the factor of, hello, we're adults.
Dude, Earth Central, who is another one of our friends, talked about it last week too. But yeah. All right. Anyway, yeah. Let's just say the Triple P show, like, let's just say there's gonna be a lot of YouTube shorts that come out of this. But yeah. Okay. Quick question: has Bavi made landfall? Not necessarily. No. It did not make landfall. The eye moved over. Which island? Correct me. Which island is this, guys?
Rhoda.
Rhoda. Okay. The island
moved
over Rhoda.
It didn't make a full landfall because officially for a landfall, which actually a lot of people get this mixed up, you need the direct center. If you want to pause that frame on Rhoda real quick for me, Pat.
Yep.
It's gonna take a second because stream delays from Discord.
Go for it.
I just gotta wait for it to catch up on the TV. But basically, if you can zoom in on that real quick.
Can I do this on Dapia? Can't I do this on Dapia?
Hang on a second. Yeah.
Let me see if I can do this on Dapia.
Yeah. You screen share? You screen share?
Yeah.
You screen share?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll help too.
Actually, never mind. I'll screen share that. Yeah, sorry, guys.
Yeah. Come on, Pat. Lock in.
I actually hear the fireworks from my phone.
Yeah.
Damn.
My phone's picking up on it. Anyway, yeah, this is where the exact center is, guys.
Yeah.
It's not over Rhoda.
Yep, the exact center is to the north of Rhoda.
Yes.
Which you actually need, if it was to be considered a landfall, that point where Pat has his cursor, everybody, for in stream, has to have been over that island, which is probably about a good 12 miles off to the north of Rhoda. But Rhoda did get partially eclipsed by the eye. Yeah. Think of it as like a total solar eclipse. If you want it to be a total solar eclipse, the moon has to go directly over the center of the sun, as opposed to part. It's the same concept. It has to go directly over.
Okay, sorry.
It has to go directly over the center of low pressure in order to be counted as a landfall. And also, after the storm goes through, I'm curious to see what pressure reports from Rota were, because they're probably going to take the pressure and probably reduce it about a good 5 to 10 millibars because they're on the outer edge of a very large eye that was still intensifying at that point, probably reaching a peak just before the eye wall replacement cycle decided to start choking out the inner eye wall and drying out its convection and strengthening the outer eye wall, which, and I also do want to remark, too, that this season in the West Pacific has been nuts in the fact that we've had 2 extremely powerful Category 5s over the Mariana Islands twice this year. We had Sinlaku back in April, and now we have this in July. And these 2 storms, along with Makala, have led to a very significant hurricanes, or typhoon season, actually. They're the same, but typhoon season in the West Pacific, as I mentioned too, is ranked 8th at the moment for highest ace in the entire season. Actually, I'm going to take a look at this as we speak real quick. I won't take too long, LT, don't worry. I'm going to look back at the West Pacific rate here real quick. The current ace is 96 units when you round up. It's comparable to seasons like 1971, the infamous 1997, 1958, and 1957, 2016, 1976, and 2004, in which most of those were actually El Nino years. So this year has some pretty promising yet scary potential. And I can tell you that person in the chat, Hurricane Z5Q, this is not reaching 300 miles an hour. That is possible, and it would have to break physics to make that intensity on a hurricane.
Someone on Weather Kingdom,
with 700 miles.
believe it or not, someone on Weather Kingdom stream was asking about that. I'm like, we had to debunk that whole thing because one, you need climate change to make that happen.
Yeah, right now theoretical maximum for tropical cyclones is about 220 miles an hour. So
yeah,
and that's under perfect waters, like 32 plus degrees water for that kind of condition.
Or just for a 300 mile per hour, you need 40 C temperatures. That ain't there.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all right, LTW, go ahead whenever you're ready.
Sorry for the partial interruption.
All right.
But I did find 4 things. Pause it. Pause it when it like got close, like when it clipped.
Right here.
Oh, look right there. This doesn't that look like a face?
A little bit. It also looked like a skull a little bit earlier, like yesterday.
Yeah. And another thing that I would like to mention is this is the first time I've ever seen this. An EDS typhoon warning.
Oh.
Which,
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And they also have Melissa like level warning. It says the eye is a distraction. Treat it as a tornado warning. A 150 mile an hour tornado beaming
Also,
down
don't
your
forget,
house.
LT, what they said in their wording. They said, like, get inside or you'll die, basically, or something like that.
Basically.
Did you not? They were very, blunt with their wording and very alarming.
They said, by the way, this is from Rota, NMI news service. The calm is a trap. Treat the returning winds like an approaching tornado. Interior safe room now. Poles and power lines will be down. Take action to protect your life.
Yeah.
If that does not scream like cataclysmic impact, I don't know what does.
Neither.
Basically, they were telling everybody to get the hell inside and pray like hell that you survive.
The eyewall absolutely hammered Rhoda on this, and I can only imagine what Taiwan's gonna face in a few days.
And
the 10th,
also
the 11 is when we're looking at.
What's up?
Yeah.
What's up?
So, believe it or not, a new cone came in now. The 11th is when we are looking at Taiwan getting hit by this.
Jeez.
It is supposed to directly hit China.
Yeah, I saw that.
And my one last thing, for the pressure, the reason why we went A5, no, I meant A5, no, I meant, let me reset this.
All right.
The reason why we went.
You mean 892 millibars?
892 millibars is due to the fact that you can help me out. But before reaching the CDO on the Guam airport, it had a pressure in the 970s.
Yeah, we talked about that.
It was 976 millibars.
Yeah.
That proves that this thing's absolutely intense and has a tight pressure gradient.
Yeah, pressure was dropping faster than we expected, which indicated that pressure was easily in the 890s. And given the presentation and it just overcoming an eyewall replacement cycle that had failed to replace the other eyewall, basically, as I mentioned earlier, the eye got clearer, the CDO became cooler. This is also when we also based this too off the fact that the NWS Guam said winds near 160 knots, which for those not using the metric system, 160 knots is 185 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And a pressure of
between
901
that and that
millibars.
Yeah, just for those of you who do not know, that is equivalent to a mid-range EF4 tornado, by the way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, and the key part is the pressure. They went with 901 millibars. So if it
Mhm.
had to be stronger than 901 millibars, it had to be stronger than 900.
Exactly. And
millibars.
Yeah,
between those two
that's my
factors,
thinking
that's why we went
with
with
this, but yeah.
185, 892.
Like they're gonna have to do something with this during the postseason analysis, in my opinion.
And
I wouldn't
Senlaku,
be
too.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't be shocked if they went high 880s, to be
Yeah,
honest.
sure.
same. With both systems, actually.